Welcome back to the show, everybody. Joining us now for our international news reviews, Steve Okun. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Happy 4th anniversary. I think I've been on for all 4 years, starting with Jason. So great to keep the tradition going.
You and I, Steve, are the originals.
We are
the true OGs. The imposters. No, it's. We've been there from the start, my friend. Couldn't have done it without you and our fellow monkeys. Great shirt, by the way.
I was actually an original fill-in for Jason. So there.
Moving a bit closer to home, Steve, this story now fascinates me. There's been several written this week about the so-called exodus from Hong Kong to Singapore of foreign talent, expatriates, but also similarly, we're leaving. There's stories about expatriates leaving Singapore. So literally, are we coming or are we going? If you look at the story in the Straits Times, the Bank of America is looking at moving staff from Hong Kong to Singapore partially due to the territory's zero COVID-19 approach. But on the flip side, another story this week I read in Reuters, expats are leaving Singapore in record numbers. Where are we?
Oh, we're clearly in one direction. The exodus from Hong Kong to Singapore is well underway. It's not coming. It is well underway. And it's underway for the primary reason that, when I started coming to Asia in the 90s, Hong Kong was a global city and Singapore was a regional city. Today, Singapore is a global city and Hong Kong has become a Chinese city. And so businesses need to have their regional hubs in a global center, ideally, if not at least a pan-regional center. So Hong Kong's always going to remain important. But when you need to have that regional presence, when you need to be able to travel everywhere, where you need to be able to have people coming in and out freely, that is going to be Singapore. And businesses are coming here. And this is not a Western phenomenon. You are having Chinese businesses, which need to have a global presence, are coming to Singapore, the same as Western businesses are coming to Singapore. There are going to be a few expats who are, don't like the travel restrictions, who've come here because they need to travel and they're not able to do that. They're going home. It's not like they're going to Hong Kong or they're going to KL or they're going to Bangkok. They're going back to where they came from. But the people who are coming in, the businesses who are coming in, it's coming into Singapore. And if you're not already coming to Singapore, you are behind those who have already started to set up from all over the world here.
Yeah. Steve, an interesting stat in that Reuters story this week, the number of employment pass holders in Singapore, not Hong Kong, the number of employment pass holders or professionals earning at least $4,500 Sing a month fell nearly 14%. From December of 2019 to June of 2021. And I assume that number has still continued to decline at some rate. So we're looking at some fairly big drops, and some of it surely is COVID related. There have been challenges with the government policy toward foreign EPs and pass holders, et cetera, over the last couple of years. So if we just look at Singapore in isolation, I think we all have stories of friends and colleagues we know that have left for a variety of reasons. What are you seeing from just the Singapore side of it?
Well, and then the thing, Glenn, you can't look at it in isolation. Everything, you have to look at it, everything's relative. And Singapore has restrictions on employment passes. It has some restrictions on travel. It's nothing like Hong Kong. And nothing at all like Hong Kong. And that's why Singapore is growing so fast. And what you're seeing because of those restrictions that are here, some naturally, some artificial. I mean, the Singapore government could increase the number of employment passes if it wanted to. It hasn't. But there are caps in how many houses there are. There are caps in how many spaces there are in international schools. And the challenge now of getting talent here, getting, from a livelihood perspective, where you're going to live, where your kid's going to go to school, if you're a foreigner, is tough. And the businesses that certainly I'm speaking to now who are coming in or wanting to come in are having a much difficult time than those who came in even just a year ago. And so the rush is on, no question about it.
Just very briefly, though, Steve, is it an either-or scenario, Hong Kong, Singapore? I mean, as Glenn mentions, that feature there, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence of people going to Dubai, heading towards Middle East, supposedly more accommodating. The time zone is more beneficial, arguably, to people from Europe, Northern Europe. I mean, so
no personal income tax.
Yeah, so it's not just a Hong Kong or Singapore scenario here, is there? There are options in the Middle East as well.
I think maybe, Neil, on the margins. But if you are running an Asia hub, you need to be, I think, in Asia. What is happening? What's going on? What are the conferences that are taking place where people are coming, in and out all the time? They're not coming in and out of Dubai all the time to talk about Asia, right? Yeah. But they are coming in and out of Singapore all the time, and you have great conferences here annually. You have Milken, you have the Shangri-La dialogue and all that IISS does, and you have you have Bloomberg. I mean, that's all happening here. People need to be here, and it is why you are getting those headlines of Bank of America moving people here. And then there's a lot of people who are coming here that they don't want those headlines because they don't want to be seen as choosing Singapore over China, and so they're coming here quietly. But they are still coming here. So what you're reading is only at the surface. What is happening is much deeper. And it is becoming much more challenging for businesses to come here and get the talent that they need.
And Dubai doesn't have Money FM.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
What else?
Although they can listen to us on the audio,
they can, and they do.